Hi, I'm Harry and welcome to my PC budget build August 2021. I'm building a PC for gaming but also for schoolwork. Let's move into the components. First, we have the 275R Airflow Corsair case with 3 fans, 2 at the front, 1 at the back, a nice glass panel and great cable management. Next, we have the AMD Ryzen 5 2600X. It comes with 6 cores, 12 thread processor and a really nice cooling system. Next, we have the motherboard. This is a great motherboard for the case. It is the B450 Pro with easy flash BIOS installation and a sound boost. And now we're moving on to the first recycled part of the build, the GPU, graphics card. It is a 1050 Ti NVIDIA palette and it has a nice system cooling here and some HDMI output. Now we have the PSU, the System Power 9 Be Quiet 600 watt PSU. It is black so it goes nicely with the case. Next, we have 2 sticks of RAM, 16 gig overall, 3200 megahertz. Really nice. Next, we have the Samsung Evo 860 SSD. This will hold all of the things we need, like games, storage, and everything like that. And finally, we have the LED lighting. This will make the case look absolutely amazing when it lights up. Right, let's get building. So first, let's open up the motherboard. You need to be really careful when opening these since they're very fragile. So here we have the main motherboard. And we have a few other bits. We have some to tidy it up along here, and some cables, and also a manual for building. We have the CPU, this is where you put the CPU, this is where you put the RAM, and this is where you put the GPU. Okay, so let's put this over here, and now let's open up the CPU. Again, you need to be really careful when opening this, since it's very fragile. So, here we have the CPU itself. So, let's put that there. And here we have the Wraith Stealth Cooler with its heat paste, which you can buy cheaply if you accidentally somehow get it off. Okay, so let's open up the cooler. Here we go. So the heat paste is on the bottom here, so try not to touch it. Let's put it like this here. Let's move this over. So let's put the CPU in. So the first thing you need to do is get it out of the casing. Next, what you need to do is lift the latch here up. Then there's a little triangle there, and you match it up with a triangle on the socket, and then it should just drop in like that. And then what you do is you bring the latch down, and that will hold it in place. Now we need to move these standoffs in order to get the fan in. now going to put on the Wraith's Stealth Cooler. As you can see here, I have already, there's a bit of thermal paste on the CPU from the dummy run. So what you need to do is you line up the screws along with the holes on the motherboard, and then all you need to do is just screw it in with the screwdriver. Okay, so now with the fan in, you get the CPU fan header and you put it in CPU fan 1 on the motherboard, and it should just be pushed in nice and gently like that. And then if you wanted to, you could put the cable so it's a lot tidier somewhere hidden. And then we're going to do the RAM now, and you click these out of the case, and then you see there's a notch here. You put it in there and it lines up with the dent in the, and then there'll be a click on each side like that, and then you put this one in 2, so it's really important to keep it in 2 and 4, and then click and click, and there's your RAM installed. Okay, so now we need to put the motherboard into the case. So as you can probably see, I've taken off the glass panel, and so in order to put this in, we need the screws, which you should find on the side panel, on the other side panel, and that one will slide off like that. And then here you can see, at least for this case, you can see here, this is where the screws are. So just gonna, so you need to push these together and then it will pop out. Okay. Put that one back in there, and let's take out the cables and screws. So here we have all the screws you're going to need and some cable ties. Okay, so according to the manual, we have 16 fan screws here. We have 16 hard drive screws, 16 SSD screws, 1 motherboard standoff screw, 8 long fan screws, and 6 cable ties. And it kind of just tells you where everything is and what it is. So let's go ahead and put it in. So it should just pop in. Oh wait, let's get it the right way around. Like that. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to be putting in the motherboard. So what you need to be doing, there will be a few holes here on the motherboard, and you need to line it up with the screw, and here on the side it's also quite easy to line up as well, so this might take a bit of time. Okay, so now we're going to have to plug in the USB, the fans, the audio, the power, and the power LED on and the power LED off. So it was really useful to look at the motherboard manual here, and it shows you where all the switches are for each one of these cables. So I'm going to start with the fans. Okay, so this one here is going to be fan 1, and according to the motherboard manual, fan 1 is there. So you need to line up here, there's a notch here, and there's kind of like some grooves on the side of the cable, and then you should be able to slot it in like that. Now we're going to move on to fan number 2, which is here, and this one is going to go into and this fan number 2 is down here, there, and again you have the notches and the grooves, and it should slot in like that. And now finally let's go on to fan 3 here, and this one is here. So let's go and grooves and notches again. And again, it will slot in. So now let's move on to the USB, and this one is here, big one here, and this one has a blacked out one, I'm not sure, on the bottom right, and on here there will be, and you have to match it up, match up the blanked one with, okay, this one's a bit awkward. So, there we go, and it just pops in. Now we will do the power switch and the power LEDs, which go power switches. Okay, so now we're going to put in the power switch, the power LED on and off, the reset switch, and the audio. So let's go with the audio in first. Whoops. It's really important to read this manual very closely, because these are really small and you need to get it just right so that it works. Okay, so now let's go in with this audio, which says it is down in the bottom left corner, and again you have the blanked out one there, and then there'll be a missing pin in here. You just need to line them up. That. Okay. Now let's go in with these power switches. Okay, so we've put it in the power and the reset button, but it wouldn't have been much point in filming it since it is very fiddly and you wouldn't have seen anything apart from my hand. Okay, so here is our PSU. It looks a bit like an octopus at the moment, and it powers the graphics card, the motherboard, and pretty much all the other components. And it goes into the bottom of the case with the fan down like this. It comes with 4 screws, and these just hold it into place. So let's just put this in and get it lined up. Alright. There we go. Wait, let me get it further. There. That should be it lined up. Now we just need to get the screwdriver. Which one? Which side screw? Okay. And let's go here first. And don't completely tighten it because you might need to adjust it. And then this one can go in. Like that. That one goes down there. Here. And there you go. Your PSU has been placed in. So we separated out the motherboard power and the CPU power, and now we're just going to tidy this away since it looks a bit like a snake's wedding. And we're just going to put it into this nice big spot here. There. And now we're going to put this up and through. So let's, whoops. Now let's just pick this up and put these through the top cable tidier. These are really nice and very useful. So up here, and the CPU as well. And put it through here, like this. Okay, so this here has a clip on the back, and there's like a notch here, and you just have to line them up. So we're gonna have to twist this around completely. Okay, so we've put in the motherboard with a clip fitting in with a notch, and then we have this one on the end, which kind of just slots in. And then, so now we're going to be putting the CPU, because we've realised that if you put it through there, it won't actually reach the slot. So we found this bit up in the corner, and we're going to put it through there, like that. And now I'm going to flip on its side. And there's the CPU, just down there. Okay, again, you have the clips, and you just need to line them up with the notches. That's one in. And wait, let's take this one out. There we have it. The CPU power is in. Okay, so now we're going to install the graphics cards in PCI Express 1. That one. First, what we're going to need to do is unscrew these two panels so that this can fit. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And one out. And number 2. Okay. So we're just gonna flick this out, just like we did on the RAM. And we're going to put this in. And again, you need to line up the notches like that. And then push until it clicks. There. GPU installed. Oh, but wait, we're going to need to put in this one. There we go. Okay, so now we're gonna have to screw back in the screws here and here. Let's start with here. One. Number 2. There we go. Let's put in the SSD now. These are much better than the old hard drives. They were very loud and slow. So let's take this off, like that. Then we just need to line it up on top. Let me get our screws. Oh, wait, let's get this lined up. There we go. the screws, just put them in there. This is very fiddly. One in. Two in. There. Now it will just and there you have it, SSD installed. Now for the power and the SATA, which connects to the motherboard. So down here in our cable area, we have multiple of these because you usually have more than one hard drive, but we only have one. So you just plug this in to there like that. And now the SATA cable that you'll see an L shape there, and you just need to line that up. The L shape here, like, just like that. And now you put it through cable tidy here. And let's just run over the PC. And you'll find SATA 1 just there with another L shape. Like that, and that will just click in. Now we've gone and tidied up all the cables here. It's looking a lot neater over here. So now all we need to do is put on the glass paneling. Okay, so let's get the thumb screws. Put these back on. There we go. There. Whoops. on the next panel. Just spin it around again. Okay. And this one just slides on like one. Two. There we go. Okay, so now we need to plug in the power, the wireless USB for keyboard and mouse, the audio and the HDMI, which isn't long enough at the moment, so we'll do that a bit later. So first let's put in the audio into, for this one it's the red, and that one just slots in. Now let's put in the keyboard chip at the top here. Like that. And finally, let's put in the power. Ooh, whoops. There. Now, for the big moment, does it actually work? Let's see. Yes! We've downloaded Windows 10 on this bootable USB stick. Now let's go and plug it in. There we go. And Windows 10 is now ready to be installed. So now we're going to be installing the RGB, red, green, blue, the LED lighting. So it's magnetic, but it's also, you can peel off the film here and it's sticky underneath. And it's controlled by the software. For us that's MSI, and it's called Mystic Lighting. And there's different ones for each type of brand. So let's just go in and put it in. Okay, so there's an arrow on here, which there in the top left, and what you need to do is you need to line this arrow up with number 1, that for us being the furthest on the left. There, and I'm going to put this one down here. I'm just going to slide it in down here like that, and then this one I think I'm going to have to stick on, peel off the film and stick along like that. And there we have the LED lighting in. Let's just check what it looks like. Oh, lovely. That will change colour over time once the software is installed and working.